And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eskimo Brothers podcast. Low on the charts, but number one in your hearts. That's an old catchphrase, by the way. I'm bringing it back. My name is Aiden, and tonight I'm joined by just one of my good friends, Moneymaker Mike.
Today is day 17 of the Mrs. WWE Intercontinental Championship Reunion Tour.
Oh, we're kicking off on a bad foot here. Unfortunately, we don't have any guests tonight, and we do not have our other Eskimo brother with us, Eli. He's performing for his own wrestling company tonight. Wishing him the best of luck. If you want to check that out, it is called Green County Wrestling. It's on YouTube. Green is spelled Greene. So basically like the color with the knee at the end. A lot of fun, good backyard wrestling. If you're into that kind of thing, it's great. And also, before we begin this review tonight, if you like what we're doing, make sure to leave a like on this video, comment on this video. You can subscribe, all of that good stuff. And also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Eskimo Bros Cast. That is EskimoBrosCast. And on that note, let's get right into the review. So this show started with a promo from Carmella. They were in the weeks that I think since, I don't know, for a few days since Money in the Bank, they've been teasing that they're going to address the controversy of the Money in the Bank ladder match, what happened in it, with James Ellsworth grabbing the briefcase, which again, as I said, Bank review, I thought that was an excellent way to get heel heat. And in this promo, Carmella did bring up some very, very valid points as to why she should have been able to keep the briefcase fairly, fair and square, no matches, no her getting stripped of the briefcase. Her points being that Bray cost Roman the briefcase and Bray wasn't in the match to help Sheamus win, and that Kane helped Seth the year that Seth won. The only difference being that neither of those men grabbed the briefcase, whereas James Ellsworth did. So I get that point. In my mind, listening to this promo, she's making excellent points, and she's doing so in an excellent way. She's a great heel. I have to say that. Carmella is an excellent heel promo. She sounds great. Gives me a kind of an Alexa Bliss vibe. And for more reasons than one, actually, because she's not excellent in the ring, but on the microphone, she can deliver. She can put on a good story with her words, and that is sometimes all you need in a wrestler. Look at Bray Wyatt. Look at The Miz. I mean, I'm not saying any of these people are bad workers per se, but they're not the greatest by any means. So, yeah, the question in my mind while listening to this promo was, yes, this match, this Money in the Bank ladder match is no disqualifications, but does the person how do you determine the winner? That's the question. How do you determine the winner? Is it the person who unhooks the briefcase, or is it the first, in this case, lady in the match to just hold the briefcase after it is unhooked? That's the question. And that question, even in the later segment in the show, it was never answered. So, I mean, we'll get to what the result was later of everything, of the controversy, but this was a great way to start the show, in my opinion. I think this might be one of the very few Carmella promos that I've ever listened to, and she did an excellent job, much better than I expected. James Ellsworth's presence just makes everything better. We'll talk about a little bit more about him later in the show, because he said I was dying in my seat of laughter at the things he was saying to Daniel Bryan in that closing segment. It was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I will say this though, I don't know if this was the best way to start the show, because I was kind of expecting Daniel Bryan to come out and they'd make the decision then and there. I do love the announcement that was made. Next week's SmackDown is going to be fantastic. We'll get to that later. However, I feel like this segment was, I don't know, it was a little, I feel like something a little bit more should have happened, but nonetheless, great promo work by Carmella. I'm loving it. I like Carmella holding that briefcase, and I hope they don't change that. I hope that walking out of next week's SmackDown, she's still Miss Money in the Bank. Mike, how did you feel about this segment?
Great heel promo. That's all I got. Got all the heat from the fans, just like a heel shows. I was a big fan.
See, that's what I'm telling you. It's exactly. She's getting heat. That's what I was saying in the Money in the Bank review. That's why I think James Ellsworth grabbing the briefcase was a good idea. She's getting heat. Now, imagine if Carmella grabbed that briefcase in that match. Just imagine how different the reaction would have been on Twitter. People wouldn't have been mad. People would have been talking about, congratulations to Carmella. She made history. She did make history, because even if they take that briefcase away from her, she's still the first ever Miss Money in the Bank. But they did it in the perfect way, in my opinion. And I'll be mad if they take that briefcase away from her, because she has heat right now. When all the ladies came out in that later segment, they were getting there was either no reaction, some slight cheers, but the biggest reaction was when Carmella came out, and it was all boos. That's what I love to hear. That's what Vince McMahon should love to hear when his heel wrestlers come out. You don't want to get cheered when you're a heel. Your objective is to get booed. And Carmella and James Ellsworth do an excellent job of that. Moving on, we kind of have after this segment, we have another segment where Daniel Bryan is in his office, and Charlotte comes in, and then there's a later one with Tamina and Natalya. These are kind of scattered throughout the show, but I figured we just knock them out all right now. They all kind of all serve the same purpose. Time fillers, if you will. They're time fillers. The Charlotte one wasn't much. I had nothing to say about that. Time filler. I wanted to make an interesting note of the one that it was Natalya and Tamina that were backstage with Daniel Bryan, and Natalya was coming off kind of like Sami Zayn has been coming off in these past few weeks, where like almost like annoyingly nice, talks too much. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I was getting like a weird Sami Zayn vibe from her promo. Or it wasn't much of a promo, but their conversation. Could you agree with that? You there, Mike? Nope, he's dead. I'm all alone in this world now. But yeah, as I said, kind of got a Sami Zayn vibe. And then speaking of Sami Zayn, the next one was with Becky. Sami was there first. Sami was having a conversation with Daniel Bryan. They set up next week they're going to do Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin, which is unfortunate to me because you know how much I love Sami Zayn. Now that Baron Corbin is Mr. Money in the Bank, he's probably going to be losing this match. That's unfortunate. But what?
Another L for Sami.
What'd you say?
Another L for Sami.
Yep, another L for Sami. And the worst thing is that he's always losing in these vital times. That's the issue with me. You look at this year's WrestleMania where he's in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal after having an excellent feud with Braun Strowman. Last year's SummerSlam, he gets stuck on the pre-show in a tag team match after an excellent feud with Kevin Owens. I'm worried that after this feud with Baron Corbin, he's going to be sent back into obscurity with nothing to do. And once again, he's going to be on SummerSlam, either in a multi-man match or he might just not be on the card at all. And Sami Zayn is one of the most talented wrestlers on the roster. I don't think anybody can deny that. But you know what? Right now, that's not about him. We can talk about that next week because I want to talk a bit about this segment more. Becky had there's a lot of good emotion from that segment. A lot of stuttering, but I kind of get it. Sometimes when I get emotional, I stutter as well. Like it made it feel more natural, that's for sure. It felt very natural. I thought she was gonna start crying there. Like I was getting ready for it. But she didn't. She didn't, I don't think, as far as I remember. But yeah, good emotion. That's all I can say about that. These segments were all nothing incredible, nothing crazy. We're not gonna rate segments tonight. We're just gonna rate the matches. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. How did you feel about these running segments, Mike?
I'm sorry?
How did you feel about like these running segments with all the women talking to Daniel Bryan?
I was a fan because it seemed like each and every woman showed. Whoa, what the hell?
So that was crazy.
Each and every woman showed like true emotion. Like they were genuinely pissed that James Ellsworth had grabbed the briefcase.
What is that noise?
Dude, I don't know.
Sounds like a hamster wheel. Okay, we got a comment from, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that, but it says, I'm not a fan of Sami. What is his character? I feel like that's definitely one of the things, and I was actually listening to an episode of the Stone Cold podcast recently, about Sammy's right now. I guess his character. It's very all over the place. You have a good point in bringing that up. In some segments, he's coming off as this goofy, nerdy, overthinking guy, and then in other segments, he's more serious. Like tonight, he seemed more serious, more focused. He's determined next week. I agree with you. His character is a little bit all over the place. For me personally, I would like to see more aggression from him. Like the look on his face at the end of Money in the Bank, that was beautiful. That was just a beautiful emotion. I want to see more of that emotion, more of that aggression. That's what I want to see from Sami Zayn. As for his character, I mean, he kind of seems like he's shedding the underdog from the underground thing, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice because I feel like when he captures a big title, that's really gonna make the story like that much better. How the underdog from the underground was able to overcome the odds and get the title. But if he's getting rid of it now, they better have something planned for him, because if he's gonna be like, I'm shedding this moniker, you can no longer call me the underdog from the underground, and then he goes right back into obscurity, then he just lost one of the few things that was going for him and got nothing out of it. So you're right. I would like to see what they're doing with this character. I think that right now Vince McMahon is just kind of playing with him and trying to see what's right, what's the best fit for him. Hopefully we'll see it in the future. Within the next few months, actually, I'd like to. Starting maybe even next week, I would like to see some building frustration maybe, and, we'll just take it from there. Okay, you can call me Katana. I'd like to see him with a taxi driver gimmick. He looks like one. Well, I see what you mean with the hat, but that would be like right up Vince Russo's alley. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's the one that made that comment. But no, I would not like to see that because that's a dumb gimmick. Sami Zayn is main event potential. In the ring, he is absolutely incredible. He's not bad on the mic at all. He's genuine. There's a lot to like about Sami Zayn, and if they put him in like a taxi driver gimmick or any corny gimmick like that, I just don't know if I could really get behind that, because he will never get further than the mid card with something like that. But anyways, moving on. I'll answer some more of your comments if you want to post some more after we get to this next segment, but we got to move along here. We have Big E versus Jimmy Uso. Now, in my notes I put, I hate it when tag team wrestlers wrestle in singles matches. And this match wasn't bad by any means, but I don't know. And so before the match, the New Day came out. They cut their promo. I'm surprised. The New Day got a decent pop, but when they were talking, when they're making these jokes, the crowd was so silent that all of the jokes just kind of came off as awkward. I didn't know, it made it, there was just a little bit of like weird tension in the atmosphere for the promo. Mike, I don't know, you can comment on this. I haven't been watching SmackDown as of late, so I can't say for sure, but have they been doing that thing where during the commercials they play the match on the side of the screen?
Yeah, they just started that about 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah,
I absolutely love that. It kind of it really like puts you into the live event experience, because I've been to Raw myself, and watching what was happening during the commercials on the side, you can tell they don't go for any big spots. It's just a lot of punching and kicking and throwing them out of the ring. That's what happens at the live shows, at the live Raws and SmackDowns when the cameras are off, because they want to save all the big spots for TV, so it makes the match look better than it really is in person. So actually, I like that because it's pushing the wrestlers to perform better. I mean, I went to a Raw, and I forget what match it was, but the entire commercial break, it was just one wrestler standing on the outside, taking the 10 count, roll back in, roll back out, 10 count. Like, that was really obnoxious. So it really kind of dampers the experience with the live crowd. But now that they have the matches during commercials, it pushes the wrestlers to continue the match at least a decent pace. I love the idea. I hope they continue it. I hope they do it with Raw, because, well, maybe actually, you know what? I might take that back, because Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown is 2. SmackDown could use the extra push. I don't know, though. But yeah, this match wasn't bad at all. There was one mistake that I saw, that when Big E was on the outside, the Uso, who was wrestling tonight? You know?
Jimmy versus Big E.
Okay, Jimmy. Jimmy went for like a diving kick to Big E on the outside, and he just like missed by like half a foot, and Big E sold it. It was kind of an awkward. I mean, Big E sold it fine, and it was okay, but like just that the kick didn't connect, it looked a little bit weird. That's the only like big complaint I have about the match. It wasn't bad. It was solid. Good psychology for the finish. It looks like they're continuing the New Day versus the Usos. I'm fine with that as long as they can put on a match that is on par with their match at Money in the Bank. However, they threw a screw in these plans with I believe there was a segment where the Hype Bros were talking to Daniel Bryan, and if they beat the Usos next week on SmackDown, they are #1 contenders.
I despise Mojo Rawley.
I despise Mojo Rawley. I despise Zack Ryder. I'll never forget.
Aiden, your mic is AIDS.
Is it?
Yeah, static.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was just me, but apparently not.
Uh-oh.
Pop out, pop back in if you can.
I don't think I can.
Oh, you're fucked.
Wow. Can they at least like kind of hear me?
Well, I can hear you. It's just like your mic is just static.
Well, okay. I guess we should probably end the show then.
No, you're. I don't think so. We're fine.
Well, I don't know. We can restart. No, I don't know.
I don't matter to me.
I don't want my microphone to be static for this entire episode.
Well, how many tabs do you have open? That's my question.
I'll exit some and see if it changes anything.
Oh, there we go.
Really?
Talk. Yep, I hear so much better.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's incredible! What a miracle! All right, guys, show's back on. Let me get a few more things as well. All right, comment people in the comment section. Can you hear me now?
Well, you have to wait 20 seconds, okay?
Yeah, we'll dude. Okay, it's good. There we go. Excellent. How long was it messing up?
A few minutes prior before I told you.
Okay, that's not that bad. It's okay. We can move on. What was I talking about? We were talking about the match. Okay. Yeah, it did feel kind of like a live event match with the psychology of it. Not just the commercial breaks and seeing what was happening during that, but it was kind of just copy and paste. Like it felt like that's just something that they do every night. It's just there was just kind of like basic heel tactics, basic going through the babyface comebacks. Everything was kind of basic. On a 2-hour show, you don't really need filler like this, so I don't know. If I had to give it a star rating, I'd probably say it wasn't terrible. I'd give it 2 stars. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'll say it's at 2.25 for me.
Okay. So after this match, we got a Naomi segment, and Naomi's talking about the Money in the Bank ladder match controversy, and then Lana comes out of the blue, and she's saying she wants another match. Naomi says bring it on next week. So next week we get Naomi versus Lana for the SmackDown Women's title. And quite honestly, I rolled my eyes at this one. I do not want to see Lana in another title match. I do not want to see it again. Money in the Bank was a disaster. This match is probably going to be a disaster. And why is it that Lana keeps on getting these matches in the first place? This will now be her 3rd match on live television. And 2 out of 3 of those matches have been title matches. And the other one was at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what Vince McMahon sees in this woman besides looks. I do not. And there are if that's what he's so high on, just her looks, there are so many beautiful women on this roster that are actually talented. Could you pick one of them, please?
Right.
To be getting these title shots. In fact, Lana's probably going to lose again, and it's just going to make her look even weaker than she did before.
Imagine if she lost, right? Let's say it goes on before the Money in the Bank, and they put her in the Money in the Bank match,
and she wins that.
Well, no, I'm not saying she wins it, but just imagine they'll probably put her in there.
That'd be terrible. And she loses again, and she just looks even weaker than before. I want Lana to become anything. They can't. you can't just put her in high-profile matches and expect her to immediately become a star. She has to be winning matches. That's why slow development is good. Look at her husband. Look at Rusev. Look at that slow development. He was beating people up like Xavier Woods and R-Truth and Big E, and then he's kind of like slowly progressed, won the U.S. title, and he had a big match with John Cena at WrestleMania, and now he's a star. If he became a world champion, nobody would complain because he deserves it. He's been building up his stardom for a long time. Lana hasn't. She has one WrestleMania match, and she has 2 title matches. And I'm pretty sure she lost her WrestleMania match as well. Let's see the comment section. The women in the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era are hotter than today's women. Well, I didn't really watch back then, so I don't really know what the women's roster. I mean, I know, of course, the names like Trish Stratus and Lita, but yeah, I don't really know what the roster is looking like. What?
She did take an L at Mania. She did take an L at Mania.
Yeah, exactly. So she's going to be 0 for 3. That's not how you build a star. Lana's my favorite, though, baby. I'd like to hear why you think Lana's your favorite. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that she's – I mean, I'd like to hear why you think she's good. Let's say that. I wish they would do something with Rusev. I mean, he's injured right now. I think he's coming back soon. I would have liked to see him tonight. Unfortunately, they did not bring him back. I'm pretty sure he's cleared, right, Mike?
I think so.
I believe he's cleared, and I would love to see him back. And I'd love to see – I would like to see him be a world champion, United States champion, high-profile matches. I love Rusev. I think he has endless potential. Not incredible in the ring, but his character is impeccable, undeniable, excellent. So moving on from – I just want to say one more thing. I like Naomi on the microphone. Don't like the Feel the Glow thing. I mean, let me say this, actually. I like the gimmick. I like her entrance. I like the merch, the Titantron, everything. That's all fine. But when she says "feel the glow" at the end of like I'm pretty sure she said it twice in this segment, and it kind of just like takes away from what she's saying because she's just throwing in this tacky catchphrase. It's kind of like the same, I like Roman and all, but I don't like it when he ends all of his promos by saying "believe that" because it kind of like takes away because he's setting up for that. So what he's saying, is it really from the heart if all along he was setting up to like just say a catchphrase? I don't know. But yeah, I do think that Naomi is a great mic worker. Lana obviously needs work in pretty much every facet, in my opinion. Lana's not terrible on the mic, though. I just think that she could be better. She could be better in the ring, on the mic. I think her character could be better. There's a lot that they could do with her. And I'm not saying that she will never be good. She has potential. I think to be on the WWE roster, you have to have potential in some form. So obviously there's something in Lana that we aren't seeing yet. And I think it's just – okay, so Katana said, I like Lana because she's extremely beautiful. Yes, I agree. She is a beautiful woman. But that I don't think that earns you a title shot, per se. As a Vince, it does. Like, there was a time in the WWE where looks were extremely important. But right now, like, I feel like we're entering an era, I should say, where talent is more important than looks. So Lana getting these title matches, if the only reason is because she's beautiful, that's a step back, in my opinion. So after this, we get another promo. A lot of promos tonight. I mean, we've had like 4 segments by now, and this one's from Randy Orton. Yes, unfortunately, they're continuing this Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal feud. Solid promo from Randy, though. It felt a little bit corny at times. But yeah, my biggest question is, why are they continuing this feud?
Punjabi prison.
I just want to say this. Mike said Punjabi prison before the Punjabi prison rumors started. I just want to say that. Mike knows all. Hashtags totally, Mike knows.
Fuck Slice.
Fuck Slice. Fuck the Revival. No, never mind. Not that.
Fuck the Revival.
As I said, solid promo. It almost felt a little like – it felt a little old school, kind of like – it was almost like the Goldust R-Truth thing where it felt a little movie-ish. This promo was a little bit Hollywood. Mike, how did you feel about the Randy Orton segment?
Pretty good. I thought it was good, personally.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go to India and attack your family members.
I love that. See, I always love. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Ginger's goons attacking, or I'm sorry, the Singh brothers attacking Randy's dad, just because we've been there and we've done that. We don't need to see that again. But
Ginger's from Canada.
Exactly. That was a little bit of racism for Randy Orton. Your man is all lives matter. I know. Sorry, I have to take my shots at Randy Orton. Dive, baby, dive. Was I? Yeah. As I was saying, I like it when people threaten each other's families because you know it's always getting personal then. But then again, I digress because it's Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. I don't care. I don't want to see this match again. I do not want to see them in a ring ever again together. They are two wrestlers that have to have support from entertaining wrestlers. And when you get two people who need support and put them together, they have nobody to lean on. And it's just boring every single time. Moving on, we get Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke. And I don't know about you, Mike, but this match pleasantly surprised me.
Yeah, I liked it, even though it kind of dragged for too long, but I was enjoying it all.
It did go on for a very long time, I'll give you that, but I would say it was much better than their first match. Would you agree?
At Backlash, are you referring to?
Yeah.
Oh, way better.
Yeah, wait.
Now that
their match. What's that?
I'm sorry. Now that they've had like so many matches together, like on the live events and stuff, that they've had more time to build chemistry, which I thought really played a big factor into tonight's match.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what happened. Because, yeah, they've been fighting a lot at, like, in dark matches, house shows, all that stuff. Yeah, as you said, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. I love the grappling at the beginning of this match. This is why I love Dolph Ziggler, because I love his amateur background. I'm a huge fan of the amateur wrestling style. You see it in guys like Matt Riddle on the Indies. You see it in guys like Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Can't wait to talk about Chad Gable tonight, by the way. I love that amateur wrestling style. It's just, it really sticks with me. It's really aggressive, and at a time it was unique. It's kind of becoming like there's a lot more in like kind of like that amateur wrestling style going on in the business right now. But I'm a sucker for it. I'm a sucker for it. But yeah, as you said, the match did drag on a little bit towards the middle. There was just a lot of like slow paced. It kind of reminded me of, like, I love Kevin Owens, but sometimes he can drag the pace of a match with all of his rest holds and everything. There is a lot of rest holds. There is a lot of just like kind of just heel offense from Dolph Ziggler. But when the match picked up, they were getting their counters in. Yeah, I have to say, overall, it was a pleasant surprise. I would give this thing about 3 stars, I'd say. How about you, Mike?
I have to agree. 3 stars for me.
Yeah, Katana in the chat said the match was decent. I agree. It wasn't anything incredible. I'm not expecting anything incredible from these two guys. Shinsuke is a hard hitter. Dolph Ziggler kind of has like that amateur wrestling background. Those two styles usually do best with a high-flying, more athletic, I don't want to say indie guy, but I'm going to have to say indie guy. Like, you know, you put Shinsuke and AJ Styles together, boom, magic. Dolph and AJ could put on a great match. Or you get somebody that's like equally as hard-hitting as like imagine Shinsuke Nakamura and Luke Harper. That would be nice. But moving on from this match, hey, Mike.
Pause.
What's up? What's up?
I'm sorry. I just have a question.
Oh, sure, go for it.
Where was Mike and Maria Kanellis tonight?
Yup. Thank you for saying that. I was actually going to start the show with that. Fingers crossed it's not because Vince already hates them. I hope it's because they're already looking to repackage because of how much heat they got on Twitter. Because that segment on Money in the Bank, you can listen to our Money in the Bank review and hear what we said about it. But I'm sorry. That was bad. It was cringeworthy. It was fingernails on the chalkboard. I hope they're repackaging them. I don't like the fact that Bennett is taking Maria's last name. There was a lot to hate about it. And if they're going to repackage them already, I would love that. Their theme song threw me off. Eli, I think Eli made a comment and said like it kind of like sounded like they were trying to like sell me on like a dating website. Like it was just I want to take them seriously. Here's my thing. There's certain people that should be taken seriously, and there are certain people who should not be taken seriously. Goldust should not be. R-Truth should not be. We talked about that on Raw, but they're still entertaining. They entertain me. It's Mike, right? It's Mike Bennett, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I wanted to say Matt Bennett so bad. But okay, I want Mike and Maria to be taken seriously because in TNA, on the Indies and Ring of Honor and that stuff, they were serious. So why would you bring them in? You brought them in seeing what they were capable of, and then you change them. Why would you don't fix something that isn't broken? That's like the number one thing that this company needs to learn and stick with. You don't want to fix things that aren't broken. Mike and Maria were fine like they already were.
Or wait for keep them off TV and then bring Adam Cole and then the kingdom is reformed. Boom.
Now that would be interesting because you see I can't
shout out to our good friend Thomas.
Yeah, shout out to Thomas. He's a big Adam Cole mark. I can't personally speak much on Adam Cole because I've probably seen about one match from him. I just don't watch a lot of indie wrestling. I'm sorry. I would eventually love to start watching, especially if we're reviewing it on the podcast. Like maybe we'll review some of the bigger Ring of Honor and New Japan events. But like, yeah, I don't go out of my way to watch indie wrestling. I can barely struggle through watching Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views for the WWE. And I don't watch TNA either. It's hard just to get through 5 hours, 5 to 8 hours a week. Sometimes I watch NXT. But yeah, I think Adam Cole has loads of potential. I see everybody loves him, so he has to be good. Bring him into a team with Mike Bennett and Maria. Go ahead. I would like that.
We can review Cody winning the title this Friday night.
Oh, is that coming up?
Yeah, Christopher Daniels versus Cody, and Cody's clearly going to win because he's indie Hogan.
Oh, what's the event?
Best in the World, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I watched that one last year. Shout out to Jay Lethal. He's the only reason I watched. I love Jay Lethal. I'll tell you that, though. I don't know much about indie wrestling, but I love me some Jay Lethal.
The lethal injection.
Exactly. I love him. So, did we do stars for this Dolphin Shinsuke match already?
I think we both said 3.
I think I said 3. What would you give it?
I'll give it a 3 as well.
All right. So, let's move on then. Kevin Owens comes out. Face of America, United States champion Kevin Owens. I loved his promo before this open challenge started. He said that the 5 men in the Money in the Bank ladder match conspired against him and tried to end his career, but he's still here. He's still standing strong. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was great work from Kevin Owens. He made himself sound strong. That's what I love to hear heels do. He says that I believe they were in Dayton, Ohio, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. So he says that any local person from Dayton, Ohio can come out and challenge him. AJ Styles comes out. He's not from Dayton, Ohio. So then I was like, what? When the music hit, American Alpha's theme song hits, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable walk out. I'm like, why are they both walking out? Jason Jordan pats Chad on the back. Chad moves forward. Jason goes back. I'm like, hell yes. Let me read you my notes word for word. Chad fucking Gable. I love this guy. He could easily be the next Kurt Angle if they wanted him to. And he showed that tonight because he's funny as hell. He is funny as hell, just like Kurt Angle was back in his prime.
When did you move here? Oh, this morning.
Exactly. I want to know what that address is personally. He gave an address to where he lived. I don't know if it's an actual house. If it is, what if it is actually his house? He's probably gonna get a lot of fans there. If it's some stranger's house, I feel bad for them. It might be a building, just like some random store or something. I have no idea. But Man, I was very excited for this match. So we get Kevin Owens, Chad Gable. Never saw this one coming. Dream match caliber right here. Love Kevin Owens. Love Chad Gable. Never seen them do it before. Never see them do it again unless they push Chad to the moon, which, please, Vince, do that because he's incredible. You'll find that out. And you saw that in this match tonight. You saw just how incredible he was as a singles wrestler. I said earlier tonight that I hate it when tag team wrestlers wrestle single matches. That's because those tag team wrestlers aren't Chad Gable, baby. Chad Gable is one of a kind. He's special. He's the next Kurt Angle if they want him to be the next Kurt Angle. I love everything he does in the ring. His suplexes are crazy. That rolling suplex on Kevin Owens had me out of my seat. I love this match. The only complaint I have about it was that it was a little bit short. It was another match that they played during the commercials, so I appreciated that, but it really only went like one whole segment. The match probably, I mean, I don't want to like give an exact time because I have no idea. I didn't have a stopwatch with me, but I'd say it was somewhere in the ballpark of like 10, 15 at the most. So a little bit short, but I'm glad Chad Gable's getting some rub. I'm glad to see Chad Gable back in the ring. I hope they do something with American Alpha, or they do something with both of them independently. I don't care. I love Jason Jordan too. I love this team. Can't say enough good things about them. I was a big fan of this match. Kevin Owens retains cleanly, of course. It looks like they're continuing Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles because Styles was on commentary. Then he stares down Kevin after the match. Mike, how did you feel about this thing?
I loved it, dude. Those suplexes. I was, yeah, like you said earlier, I was shocked to see Chad lift that man. I'm like, Jesus.
Because, hey, there's no denying that Kevin Owens is a thick boy. Kevin Owens is thick, and Chad Gable lifted him practically with ease. He's looking like Cesaro in that ring, pound for pound, strongest man. And he's so small, too, that just seeing him throw around Kevin Owens like that, especially at the beginning of the match, he's doing all of these suplexes, and he's not letting go. He just picks him up, goes for another. It was absolutely phenomenal. I was a huge fan of it. Yeah, after this match, actually, let's do our star ratings real quick. I'll give this match a 3.5 star just because I love that it happened. I would probably give it higher if it went longer, if they gave Chad more of a fighting chance, but unfortunately they didn't. But I'm not going to complain. I got to see Kevin Owens fight Chad Gable. I'm a happy boy. Mike, how many stars would you give this?
I'm going to one up you a bit. I'm going to say 3.75.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it. I wish I could give Chad all the stars in the world. You know how much I love Chad. So after this match, so actually I just like to say real quick, we're getting some good action so far during this night. Dolph versus Shinsuke was nice. AJ versus, oh, I'm sorry. There's a helicopter above me. Confused me. I'm getting lost in the shuffle. And then Chad Gable versus Kevin Owens was top quality as well. I'm happy with this night so far. The main event was announced as Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper, but not even that can keep me down because I'm a big Luke Harper fan. Yeah. So,
oh my god, so many memories on the old show.
So many memories, yeah. See, Mike used to be a Luke Harper mark. Now he's more of a Miz mark.
I still am a Luke Harper, but
it's just toned down a little bit.
Yeah.
So after the segment was the Mojo and Zach talking to Daniel Bryan because Mojo and Zach won a #1 Contenders Battle Royal, but that was the match where Zack Ryder got injured, so they never got their match. They want their match. Next week, it'll be the Hype Bros versus the Usos in a if the Hype Bros win, they're #1 contenders. Please, God, do not let that happen. The only note I took for this segment was I was wishing they would forget about Mojo and Zach being #1 contenders because as I just do not want them holding those titles. I do not want them anywhere near those titles. Mojo is a thumb motherfucker. Zack Ryder is associated with that thumb motherfucker. So I just don't like those guys. I'm still mad at Zack Ryder for winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 32. I'll never forgive you, Zack. Unless you turn heel on Mojo, then I might forgive you. But for now, you're cucked, buddy. After this, we had I'm not sure if I should mention this, but I wasn't able to praise Sami Zayn on this show yet, so I might as well get that in right now. A commercial for Sonic, right? Ty Dillinger. Sami Zayn, he's got his clipboard. He's trying to figure out which one of these like milkshake things is the better one. He's trying to get some ratings from Ty Dillinger. Haha, you know he's gonna go 10 for both. And then he's like, why don't you just have both, Sammy? Sammy's like, what a good idea. But Ty Dillinger gave my man Sammy the roast because Sammy's like, what wouldn't you rate a 10? He's like, probably this conversation. Good one, Ty. Fuck you, buddy. Can we just talk about how Sami Zayn makes everything good? Like, who else could have done this so well? It felt like I was watching a real-ass commercial. Sami Zayn is such a good actor. To death. He's probably going to lose to Baron Corbin next week, but I still love him. I will always love you, Sami Zayn. If you're hearing this, hit me up, bro. Follow me on Twitter. That was a little thirsty. I just shot my shot. No homo, bro. No homo. I'm going to stop right there because that was a commercial. That wasn't really part of the show. Up next, we get the segment where Daniel Bryan is going to make his official decision. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Daniel Bryan comes laughing because of what James Ellsworth said, and we aren't even there yet. I just looked at my notes, and the first word is James, and I'm just already bawling. Oh my god, I love this man. Duh.
That became a meme last night.
Oh my god. So then Daniel Bryan calls out all the women that were in the match. Daniel Bryan starting to talk. He's like, yes, the match is no disqualifications, which means that Carmella should be the winner. And then Daniel Bryan keeps on mumbling on. And then James Ellsworth has the mic and he goes, I think he said something about ever since you ever since you had that hippie vegan baby, you've gone soft, Daniel. And Daniel Bryan just pops off on my man. I feel so bad for James. That was the most emotion. Where was that emotion from Daniel Bryan his entire career? The one thing I've always knocked Daniel Bryan for was that he's just not good on the mic by any means. Like, he just never came off as passionate. His promos always came off as kind of just generic, run-of-the-mill. But this was the most emotion I think I've ever seen him show in a genuine manner. Like, my man, like, that might not have been scripted. Daniel Bryan seemed genuinely pissed. And then they all started fighting, like, verbally. And then this was really awkward. Charlotte said something along the lines to Natalya that, like, I'm going to, like, beat you up and you're going to end up looking like James Ellsworth. And then Tamina goes, Charlotte, shut up, or you're gonna end up looking like James Ellsworth. Like,
yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Did they know that? I feel like they like read the script and like maybe Tamina like read the wrong line. And even if she did, couldn't she have just ad-libbed something else like, Charlotte, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, girl? Like, it was like did you you heard Charlotte use that line before you? Why would you use it again? Obviously, it was probably an issue with the script, but it just came off as really awkward. The crowd was all like, huh? There was absolutely zero reaction.
I was like, I was watching with my grandma, and I'm like, she just literally just repeated what Charlotte just said. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I almost wanted to go back and see if like there was a difference because like I don't have a problem with Tamina. I think she's a solid worker. She looks good. She looks like she could kick ass. She could probably kick my scrawny ass. But yeah, if that's how she's gonna be on the mic, I don't know if she's ready to be a star yet. She has the potential. She has the lineage to be something big, but the mic work is a huge thing in this company, and if you can't work the mic, like if you gave that segment to a Chris Jericho, for example, he would ad-lib something. If somebody used the same line as him, he would think of something else to say. Sometimes you don't want to stick by the script all the time. It's good to kind of deviate if you know it's going to benefit the segment. She needs to stop hugging the script so tightly. But basically, it's funny because Daniel Bryan said he wasn't going to let his emotions get in the way, yet he proceeded to let his emotions get in the way of his decision. Daniel Bryan strips Carmella of the briefcase, and next week on SmackDown Live in San Diego, my hometown, it is going to be a rematch of the Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Same women, same stipulation. James Ellsworth isn't banned from ringside as far as I know. They might change that. I'm sure they actually will. But then again, it's no disqualification. So even if he's banned from ringside, is he really? Maybe they could threaten like if he comes out, he's fired. But I don't know. I think. Wow, look who it is.
Oh my God, it's Eli.
Better late than never, right?
Better late than never, my friend. I mean, we're on the second to last segment.
But
it's okay.
Oh, are we not allowed to say that? Oh, I almost spoiled it.
Give it a little bit, you know. Let's just say I'm feeling a little. Let's just say I'm feeling a little bit heavier today.
I said it at the beginning of the show, but ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're tuning in right now, check out Green County Wrestling. GREENE. Excellent stuff. Very fun, entertaining backyard wrestling company. You won't regret checking it out. I swear to God. And by the way, Okadema for champ.
If you watch it, you join the Okademocracy.
Quick side note: I will tell you this: Okadema is not the most over babyface in the company.
He is.
You'll see. I'll tell you. You'll see.
I told you, bro. There's no hating that man. He's Okadema. But we'll save that for the GCW review because we're most certainly doing that. I want to do that real bad. I want a GCW review. I want to make that shit long as heck too. I'm gonna make it like 3 hours long. I'm going in depth on GCW. But anyways, back to the point. In my opinion, this was a terrible decision by Daniel Bryan because he literally contradicted himself. He began the segment saying, Carmella's right. There's no disqualifications. It's the first woman to hold the briefcase that's eligible to do so in the match. And then he takes it away from her. That's terrible logic. The only explanation is that he let emotions get the best of him, but he said he wasn't going to let emotions get the best of him. So in my opinion, fire Daniel Bryan. He's a dumb cuck.
Wow.
How about you, Mike? How did you feel about this?
Dude, I'm sad. I'm really devastated they stripped it from Carmella. She better win it back, but they'll probably give it.
Dude, I'm so upset because that briefcase is perfect on Carmella. We just talked about this on our Money in the Bank show. Look at how much heat she was getting tonight. She was getting booed in the first time she came out, the second time she came out, got the strongest reaction out of any of the women. And if the strongest reaction is boos, she's doing her job as a heel. She's doing exactly what I said she was going to. The finish at Money in the Bank got her heat. She has her heat. Let her keep the briefcase so she can maintain that heat. Because when she loses the briefcase, it's not going to matter anymore. She's going to be the girl that ended up losing. And if she loses, which I really hope she doesn't because I can't stress enough how I feel like she's the perfect fit for that briefcase. If she loses, it'll show that she can't win anything without James Ellsworth, and that's making her weak. You want to talk about the WWE being sexist? That's how you make them kind of look sexist. I mean, it's still not like entirely sexist, and I guarantee you that's not what they're going for. But basically, by doing that, you're saying that Carmella can't win without her man. And the woman could have grabbed it for her, and it would have been the same thing. But, I mean, it's circumstantial, but it's going to look bad.
Another thing that it does, it wastes the moment that they. I know we talked about the moment thing on Sunday, but it kind of just wastes the match if somebody else goes on to win it.
That's an excellent. That's an excellent point. I forgot to mention that. I was thinking about bringing it up. I just didn't.
Because if Becky Lynch wins this rematch, or Charlotte or somebody, then what was the point of having the very first ever Money in the Bank or women's Money in the Bank be wasted on James Ellsworth, giving it to Carmella for only Carmella to get stripped of it and not win it back?
Yeah, exactly. It was a waste of a moment because I guarantee you this match is not going to have the hype around it that the match at Money in the Bank did. It's just not going to. They've done too much already. If Becky, as you said, if Becky and actually if anybody but Carmella wins this match next Tuesday, it completely defeats the purpose of doing it at Money in the Bank. It completely defeats the purpose of having Carmella win it. And in the long run, you're making Carmella look weak. When I was just talking earlier in the show, she cut an incredible heel promo. She has the potential to be something special, and you're dropping the ball with her if you don't let her do her thing and hold that briefcase. I just really hope that she holds on to that thing. She's doing a great job so far with getting the crowd to hate her. I do not want to see it end. And honestly, if I had to give my personal prediction right now, I would say that she retains. I would say that the only reason they're doing this is because Vince realized his mistake. He realized that it made Carmella look kind of weak. He realized that it was the first women's Money in the Bank match in history and that a man grabbed the briefcase. And he wants to right his wrongs. He wants to correct his sins. He wants to be like, all right, Carmella is the person to hold this briefcase, but let's give it to her in legitimate fashion. Let's have her grab the briefcase by herself. If James Ellsworth still gets involved, I'll die because I love James Ellsworth. He cracks me up. I mean, but if he does, exactly. But if he does get involved, he should not be the one to grab the briefcase. It probably should have been Carmella all along. Becky should have tipped it. Carmella should have been in better condition, and she should have climbed the briefcase and grabbed it because that would have been a clean finish. But if this is what they're going for all along, then I guess so. But it doesn't really make sense. You're taking away from that match. It's basically like you have one central focus at Money in the Bank, and you're ripping it in half and putting it next week. So that Money in the Bank ladder match has half the relevancy that it once did, and half of that relevancy is going to next week's SmackDown. And that's fine because I'm excited. Has this ever happened? Has there ever been a Money in the Bank ladder match on a Raw or SmackDown?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. So this is a pretty groundbreaking thing. And it's also cool how the first Money in the Bank ladder match to ever happen on Raw or SmackDown is a women's match. So the women are not only following in the footsteps of what the men have already done, but they're now beating them to the punch. And I like that. I think that's cool. I think that they're entirely capable of putting on a good match. Their one at Money in the Bank was pretty good. I think that with the psychology behind it now, that they might be targeting Carmella, and there's definitely more psychology behind this thing. I think it'll only be better than their first. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to tune into next week's SmackDown because of it.
Raw women get thrown all together for about 4 minutes yesterday, and next week the women get a Money in the Bank match on TV.
Right?
I'm
telling you, dude, Raw's going back, SmackDown's going forward, and I'm loving the SmackDown women's division right now. I think that Charlotte was a good addition. I think that I do think that bringing Alexa to Raw was the right move because it needed a breath of fresh air, but they're just fumbling the ball over on Monday night right now. Tuesday is where it's at for the women. You can see this is on Twitter. They're very vocal about how they feel about where their divisions are, and the women of Raw are pretty upset with how things are going, and they're probably jealous. They're probably jealous that they have to sit back and watch the SmackDown women make history. But either way, I mean, you have to be happy for just women's wrestling in general because it is growing. It's getting bigger every week. I hope Raw picks their game up and they start, doing something interesting. I think Sasha and Alexa could put on a compelling match at SummerSlam probably. I'm interested to see what's happening next week on SmackDown. As I said, things are looking good. Hopefully they can get even better. But anyways, moving on to our final segment. It's a match, the main event between Luke Harper and WWE champion Jinder Mahal. Now, going into this, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Any match that has the name Jinder Mahal in it, immediately, like, some interest is kind of taken away from me. Exactly. Snooze fest. Thank you. But Luke Harper is also one of those people that just elevates every match. So I was pretty indifferent towards this thing. I love Luke Harper. Jinder Mahal pretty much puts me to sleep. Let's see what they can do together. And I was pleasantly surprised, I guess you could say, because it wasn't bad. It was a solid match. Should it have been the main event? Probably not. They could have done, I don't know, maybe Shinsuke versus Dolph. I get that Jinder's the champion and that makes sense, but there's other things they could have done instead of this as the main event. And I'm only saying that because it's Jinder Mahal and Luke Harper. And just think about this. A month ago, Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper would have been like a 5-minute filler match that Luke Harper won. Now it's the main event of SmackDown. I'm just not ready. We talked about this. I just talked earlier in the show about Rusev, who was a star that was built. Jinder was not built. I'm not ready for him to be main eventing shows. I'm not interested in watching him main event shows.
No, I didn't watch SmackDown. That was the main event segment.
Yep.
That's So that's how SmackDown went off the air. Is with Jinder Mahal beating.
And guess what match?
We have some breaking news.
Shinsuke versus Dolph. I saw that.
No. Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable.
Oh yeah. I saw that too. I was like, oh, that's interesting. How'd that go? I bet it was awesome.
It was a little bit short, but it was great. Hey, you know what you should do, Eli? You should go back and listen to this podcast. My mic. Just to warn you, my mic was messing up for a few minutes, and then we almost ended it, but we came back. We bounced back, and it's been good ever since. We're going strong right now.
We have breaking news from the WWE.
And what's that?
James Ellsworth is indeed now banned from ringside.
I knew it. Called it. Hashtag fuck slice.
Fuck slice.
As first reported by the Eskimo brothers. You heard it here first.
First reported by, yes, I told you. Everybody that's listening right now can attest to the fact that I said he was banned from ringside before he was banned from ringside. I am Dave Meltzer's inside source.
Fuck slice.
Fuck slice, yeah, all that good stuff. So back to the match at hand. I put in my notes best match of Jinder's career ? Because I don't think I've ever seen Jinder Mahal in such a solid match. It wasn't bad, wasn't good. The only reason I'd say it was better than his match with Randy is because Luke Harper had some incredible offense, and it was also shorter. If this thing dragged on, it probably could have been just as bad because Jinder Mahal is kind of like a charisma and talent vacuum. He just sucks it away from every single person he's in the ring with, and he almost got Luke Harper. If the match was like 5 to 10 minutes longer, I probably would have been asleep right now. We wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'd be chilling in bed. I also wanted to mention one other thing. Well, I should say first, Jinder won after Baron Corbin did the same thing that Carmella did at Money in the Bank. He came out, teased the cash in, didn't cash in, went back up the ramp left. Jinder was distracted. Luke Harper rolled up from behind, kicks out of that, hits him with a super kick, goes for the discus clothesline. Jinder counters, I think, with a kick, and then hits him with his Ted DiBiase finisher. I don't know what it's called.
Dream Street, baby.
Well, they have a name for it now. They're calling it some Indian word, I believe.
I know. I don't. It's Dream Street. I'm sorry. It'll always
Dream
be
Street.
Yeah.
He hit him with the Dream Street. 1, 2, 3. Jinder Mahal wins. Luke Harper looked incredibly weak, unfortunately, because Luke Harper could have been in a triple threat match at WrestleMania with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and look at him now. He's losing to Jinder Mahal on SmackDown. I know Jinder Mahal is your champion, and he's supposed to look strong, but as I said before, he's not a star yet. He's not a star in my books, and I don't know if he ever will be, because as soon as he drops that title, I guarantee you he's going right back to the mid-card. He is not a star. This is, as we talked about on Money in the Bank review, it's just a grab for the India fan base. And they mention it every single time Jinder's in the ring. JBL's talking about, well, Jinder feels like he represents the 1.3. They love throwing around that 1.3 billion number. Vince McMahon's got a fetish for that number. He loves using it. Yeah, say 1.3 billion again. Yeah. They do it time like Jesus Christ. That it just bugs. We talk like if you want to go listen to my opinions on all of that. I talked about it for like 10 minutes on the Money in the Bank podcast. You can go listen to that. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just backhanded logic. I'll say that. And so after the match, Randy Orton came out. And I just want to say, is it me or does it look like Jinder Mahal is just like, he either doesn't know how to take a bump or he's scared to take a bump? Because every single time he takes an RKO, he lands on his knees. Every single time he takes that, like, the hanging DDT from Randy Orton, he lands on his knees. Is he afraid of hurting his pretty little face?
I think why he does it on his knees, because in all honesty, I feel like the knees would kind of just hurt worse than, actually taking the legitimate bump.
I think it's a fear thing. I think that even though, I feel like the knees could hurt more. And honestly, like, if you're talking about, like, potential injuries, like, if you don't get your knee tucked a certain way, it could be even worse for you. But the idea of going face first and, like think about it. If you were falling to the ground, would you rather land flat on your face or, like, on your knees? Probably on your knees because your face is very sensitive. a lot of nerve endings. You know, honestly, I kind of just made that up. I think there's a lot of nerve endings. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so I'm kind of guessing, but it hurts to land on your face, and it hurts to get hit in your face. I know that from personal experience. I think maybe he's scared, or maybe he just doesn't know how to take the falling flat bump. I don't know. I feel like literally everybody else on the roster can, and he's like reasonably athletic, so he should be able to, but I don't know.
As the WWE champion, he should probably know how to wrestle.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah,
and as the WWE champion, he should at least be willing to take an RKO the way it should be taken.
Flash in the pan. That's all it is.
Flash in the pan, grab for the India fan base. That's all. That's. I don't even think Vince likes this guy. I think they're literally just going, we need those 1.3 billion fans, baby. So we're gonna put that strap on Jinder. There is so many. How about this? You want to hear a crazy idea, guys? This is why I should be on the booking team. How about instead of unnecessarily putting the strap on Jinder, you just make him look strong. Give him a feud. Let him fight somebody like Sami Zayn. Or actually, you know what? Don't let him fight Sami Zayn because I don't want anybody beating Sami Zayn. Let him fight good like mid-card faces right now on SmackDown. You know, put him in a feud with Luke Harper. Put him in a feud with guys like that, those mid-card level guys. Let him win at pay-per-views, and then you'll start getting that interest from the India fan base. And then you pull the trigger and put like the U.S. title on him. And if he really becomes a star, if fans across the globe start to get behind him, then you can put a world title on him. Like Rusev, he's primed for a world title because, as I said earlier, he was built. He won the U.S. title. The fans began to like him. He had a big match with John Cena. It was a big deal. Everybody was happy. Nobody is happy about this. Nobody cares about this. I'm sorry. I don't like seeing Jinder with the title. Way too soon. Not a great wrestler. Not a great character. Generic foreign heel. But basically, this was the end of the show. I don't have anything else to say. I mean, if I had to give this match a star rating, I'd probably give it a 2.25. How about you, Mike?
I've got a 2.25 is fair.
Yeah, and Eli's gonna have to give it an NA because he was too busy putting on probably a show that was better than the one we just watched tonight. Eli, tell us when do you think that when do you think GCW is gonna be uploaded?
My guess is
tomorrow?
If not the next day, but within the week. Before Friday, you'll see it.
All right, sick. We'll probably, I think this is probably our last show until Friday where I'll be going in alone because this is the podcast about everything. On Friday, I'm going to be reviewing a rap album, Vince Staples' Big Fish Theory, all by myself. Can't wait for it. You know me. I love my rap music. I want that Vince Staples Kendrick Lamar song, but this is a wrestling podcast, so I'll save that for Friday. But yeah, that was the show. I think that it had a term that Eli used last night, peaks and valleys. This thing had its ups and downs. We got Chad Gable versus Kevin Owens. We got a solid match between Shinsuke and Dolph. We got a good promo from Carmella. There were good things about the show. There is definitely some filler things like the women's segments between after all the matches and other promos. The Jimmy Uso versus Big E match was kind of filler. And just small things like that. And Luke Harper versus Jinder wasn't necessarily the best way to end the show, but I can't complain. It was most certainly not the worst show of anything I've ever watched, and I've kind of grown accustomed while watching wrestling to just deal with it. If the show's not great, just deal with it. You can pray that it'll be better next week. It probably won't be, but we have a lot to look forward to next week. Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin. So yeah, I don't know why I'm looking forward to that. One, Sami's probably going to lose. Two, they don't have a lot of great chemistry together just because Baron Corbin's kind of just like Jinder, he's kind of like that charisma and energy vacuum. So he's going to kind of suck it out. It's probably going to be a slow-paced match. But we do have that women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I think is going to be extremely interesting. We have the Hype Bros versus the Usos. We have they're booking a lot for this show, and then we have Naomi versus Lana, which makes me want to gag. So actually, you know what? In retrospect, this show's probably not going to be pretty good aside from that ladder match. But as I said, we can't complain. But anyways, let's wrap things up here. Thank you. Yeah, let's plug our Twitters real quick. Actually, you're right.
Make sure to follow.
Oh, yeah, Eli's here now, so we can do it. Eli, we had to skip it before. I mean, like I plugged the Twitter, but we had to like skip the whole shtick. Now we can do it.
Oh, damn it.
Everybody, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Eskimo Bros Cast. That is ESKIMOBROSCAST.
Hit it, Eli, you son of a bitch.
Or does he don't know how to spell?
Does anybody want to plug your personal Twitters?
Follow me on Twitter at Worst Profile.
Follow me on Twitter at TheBuckleBomber. And there's this dude named Solomon Price in GCW. I think that you should also follow him on Twitter at GCW Price.
He's not as good as Okadema, though.
I would recommend following all these guys. They're entertaining tweeters. I don't tweet much personally, but if you want to follow me, it's at the Aiden Edwards.
Pretentious fuck.
I'm sorry for the V. One of these days I'll change it. I swear to God. The next time we talk, the next time we're on air, I swear to God, I will have it changed. But anyways, guys, thank you all for listening. Thank you to anybody who's listening right now. Thank you to every single person who listens to a single second of this podcast. It doesn't matter how much you listen to. We appreciate you. We appreciate the comments in the live stream. We appreciate the thumbs up. We appreciate those who subscribe. We even appreciate those who thumbs down. And whether it be that you don't like us or you don't like our opinions, that's okay. Thank you for giving us a chance.
Oh, y'all are so loving.
So loving. Hey, we appreciate the chance. We appreciate the fact that you clicked on and gave us a shot. If you don't like it, that's okay. More power to you. But as I said, thank you, everybody. Have an amazing night, and I'll see you on Friday. Yes, as I said, if you want to check it out, I'll be reviewing Vince Staples' Big Fish Theory album. And other than that, as for wrestling, we will see you. Oh, wait. Didn't you say that there was a Ring of Honor pay-per-view on Friday, too?
Yeah.
We might be doing double duty. I might do the Vince Staples thing. Or actually, maybe we can do the Ring of Honor thing on Saturday. I don't know. We'll see how everything pans out. We'll update you on the Twitter. That's the reason. That's incentive to follow our Twitter account because we'll keep you updated there. But yeah, for now, bless you all for listening. Sorry for going on for so long. Peace out. Thanks for watching.